Now, on page 117, there is a little writing. On this part is a sample. Let's read this together. I went to the Hanok village. I wore a hanbok. I ate delicious Korean food too. It was a great time. So this story, like the two we read before, is about a trip that we took. We went somewhere and we did a few things while we were there. So for this assignment, we need to tell about some place we went and what we did there. So let's look at this line by line and then make our answers. So first, I went to the Hanok village. I went to some place. Now the place I have selected for today, I went to Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is the capital of America. So, I went to the Hanok village, someplace. I went to Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is a city. Now the next line, I wore a hanbok. Now, what did I do? I wore a hanbok. So here, in Washington, D.C., I went to Washington, D.C. I visited a museum. Washington, D.C. has very many museums. Museums on art, on history, on science, on technology, on news, all kinds of museums. So, of course, I went to Washington, D.C. and I visited a museum. Now our third line, I ate delicious Korean food too. This too means I also did this while I was in the Hanok village. I went to the Hanok village, I wore a hanbok, and I ate delicious Korean food. So, I went to Washington, D.C. I visited a museum. I took pictures of monuments too. I took pictures of monuments too. A monument is a large statue or some building about a historical person or event. Just like the museums, there are many of these in Washington, D.C. The most famous is the Washington Monument. So, now my story says, I went to Washington, D.C. I visited a museum. I took pictures of monuments too. It was a great time. And there's one last thing. Here, we have two pictures. In this picture, we see a boy wearing hanbok. And in this picture, we see some traditional Korean food, which is this sentence and this sentence right here. Now here, it says to stick a picture or draw a picture. I don't have any photos, so I'm going to draw a picture. I'm going to draw just one picture, but you should draw two pictures, one for each of your sentences. I will draw a picture for this one. I took pictures of monuments too. So, there we go. This is a picture I drew of the Washington Monument. If you ever go to Washington, D.C., you should look at this. You really can't miss it. It's the tallest thing there. All right. Good job today, everyone. Remember to practice your English every day. And I can't wait to see what your story says next time. Okay, bye.